Hi, everyone, and welcome to my English podcast conversation. My name is Emma. Podcasts are one of the most effective tools for improving English speaking skills. They offer a natural, immersive way to learn the language without the pressure of a traditional classroom. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, listening to English podcasts can significantly enhance your listening, speaking, and comprehension skills.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English podcast where we help you learn English while exploring fascinating topics from around the world. My name is Adam, and I am thrilled to have you join us today for a very special episode.
And I'm Julia. We are so excited to be your hosts for this session. Thank you for tuning in to spend some time with us. We hope you're ready for an interesting and fun conversation that will not only help you practice your English, but also teach you something new about the world.
Absolutely. Today, we're diving into a topic that's both festive and universal. No matter where you are in the world, the New Year is an event that almost everyone celebrates. But here's the fun part. People celebrate it in so many different and unique ways depending on their country, culture, and traditions.
That's right. In today's episode, we're going to explore how different countries welcome the New Year. From fireworks in the United States to eating special foods in Japan, there are countless fascinating traditions to discuss.
And as always, we'll make sure that the language we use is clear and easy to understand, especially for those of you who are beginner learners of English. This way, you can learn about the world while also improving your English skills.
Now, you might be wondering why we chose this topic. Let's take a moment to think about why it's important to learn about the way other cultures celebrate special occasions. Adam, why do you think this is valuable for our listeners?
Well, Julia, learning about other cultures is like opening a window to a new world. It helps us understand how people live, think, and celebrate differently from us. This knowledge can make us more open-minded and help us appreciate the diversity of the world.
Exactly. And when you're learning a new language like English, knowing about cultural traditions can give you great conversation starters. For example, you might meet someone from another country, and asking about their New Year traditions can lead to a meaningful and enjoyable conversation.
Yes, it can also help you build stronger connections with people. When you show interest in someone's culture, it shows respect and curiosity. That often makes people happy and willing to share their experiences with you.
And let's not forget that learning about traditions also teaches us new vocabulary. When we talk about New Year celebrations, you'll hear words and phrases that you can use in your own conversations.
So, by the end of this episode, not only will you learn how different countries celebrate New Year, but you'll also pick up new English words and phrases to talk about holidays, traditions, and celebrations.
That's why we think this topic is perfect for today. It's fun, educational, and it's a great way to practice English while celebrating the joy of the new year.
Now that we've set the stage, let's jump into our journey around the world to discover some amazing New Year traditions. Shall we get started?
Yes, let's begin.
Let's begin by understanding the basics. What exactly is the New Year, and why is it so important to people all over the world? Well, in its simplest form, the New Year marks the beginning of a new calendar year. It's the day when the old year officially ends and a fresh one begins. For many cultures, it's a significant moment because it represents the idea of renewal, hope, and starting over. People often see it as an opportunity to leave behind the challenges, mistakes, or difficulties of the past year and look forward to a future filled with possibilities, growth, and achievements.
That's a great explanation, Adam. To add to that, the concept of New Year varies depending on the calendar a culture follows. For most of the world today, we celebrate the New Year based on the Gregorian calendar, which is the calendar commonly used in international contexts. The Gregorian calendar was introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582 to replace the Julian calendar, and it is now recognized as the global standard for keeping track of time. According to this calendar, the new year begins on January 1st, which is why most countries celebrate it on this date. However, there are other calendars, like the Chinese lunar calendar or the Islamic calendar, that define the start of their respective New Years differently.
Exactly, Julia. That's why it's so fascinating to explore New Year celebrations around the world. Even though the date may vary for some cultures, the essence of celebrating a fresh start and welcoming new opportunities is something that unites people universally. Now let's talk about why people celebrate the New Year. If we think about it, the New Year isn't just about marking a change in the calendar. For many people, it's a deeply symbolic event that holds a lot of emotional and cultural significance. One of the main reasons people celebrate is because it gives them a chance to reflect on their lives. They look back on the year that has passed, what went well, what didn't, and what lessons they learned.
That's so true, Adam. The new year is also a time when people feel inspired to make changes in their lives. This is where the idea of New Year's resolutions comes in. Resolutions are promises or goals that people set for themselves at the beginning of the year. These can range from small personal habits like exercising more or eating healthier, to big life-changing decisions like starting a new career or moving to a different city. It's like giving yourself a roadmap to improve and grow in the year ahead.
Yes, and there's something powerful about starting fresh. People often feel a sense of optimism and motivation during the new year. It's a time when they believe that anything is possible, and they have the entire year ahead to work on their dreams and aspirations. Celebrating the new year allows people to share that hope and positivity with their loved ones, which is why it's such a joyous occasion.
And let's not forget that celebrating the new year is also about community and togetherness. Whether it's family gatherings, parties with friends, or large public events, people come together to share in the excitement of welcoming a new chapter. It's a time when differences are set aside and everyone unites in the spirit of celebration and hope.
That's right, Julia. And as we dive deeper into the different ways countries celebrate the new year, we'll see how each culture adds its unique flavor to this universal theme of renewal and optimism. Whether it's through food, music, or special rituals, the new year is a time for everyone to celebrate life and look forward to what's ahead.
Absolutely. So now that we've covered the general overview, let's move on to explore how specific countries celebrate this wonderful occasion. Get ready to take a trip around the world with us.
Let's start with the United States, one of the most iconic places for New Year celebrations. When people think of New Year's Eve in the U.S., the first image that often comes to mind is the ball drop in Times Square, New York City. This tradition dates back to 1907 and has become a global spectacle, with millions watching it on television and online every year. At exactly 11:59 p.m., a giant, sparkling crystal ball begins its descent from a pole atop one Times Square, taking 1 minute to reach the bottom as the clock strikes midnight. The crowd, numbering in the hundreds of thousands, counts down the final seconds, creating an electric atmosphere filled with excitement and anticipation. Fireworks light up the sky, people cheer, and the celebration symbolizes the start of a fresh year full of hope.
Yes, Adam. And while the Times Square ball drop is one of the most famous events, it's not the only way people celebrate in the United States. Across the country, many families and communities enjoy parades, such as the Rose Parade in Pasadena, California, which features beautiful flower-covered floats, marching bands, and equestrian units. Another common tradition is hosting or attending parties where friends and family gather to eat, dance, and share resolutions. For many, the new year is not just about the midnight countdown, but also about spending time with loved ones and enjoying the festive spirit. Now, let's travel to China, where New Year celebrations are completely different from those in the United States. While China does recognize January 1st as the start of the calendar year, the main celebration is the Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival. Unlike the Gregorian New Year, the Chinese New Year follows the lunar calendar and falls between late January and mid-February. Homes and streets are adorned with bright red decorations like lanterns and couplets, which symbolize good fortune and ward off evil spirits. One of the most exciting traditions is the dragon dance, where performers carry long, colorful dragon costumes and dance through the streets to the beat of drums. The dragon is a symbol of strength, prosperity, and good luck, making it a central feature of the festivities.
That's absolutely fascinating, Julia. The Chinese New Year is also rich with symbolism, and every element has a deeper meaning. For example, families prepare large feasts with dishes that represent health, wealth, and happiness. Dumplings, for instance, are believed to bring wealth because their shape resembles ancient Chinese gold ingots. Another unique aspect of Chinese New Year is the tradition of giving red envelopes filled with money, especially to children. These envelopes, called hongbao, are a way of wishing prosperity and success in the coming year. The celebration concludes with the Lantern Festival, where people light paper lanterns and release them into the sky, symbolizing letting go of the old and welcoming the new. Next, let's head to India, a country known for its diversity, where New Year celebrations vary widely depending on the region and culture. While January 1st is celebrated as the New Year by many, some Indian communities view other festivals as their symbolic New Year. For example, Diwali, the Festival of Lights, is considered a New Year celebration for many Hindus. During Diwali, people light oil lamps, burst firecrackers, and perform prayers to Goddess Lakshmi, the deity of wealth and prosperity. It's a time for cleaning homes, wearing new clothes, and starting fresh financial accounts for the year ahead.
That's right, Adam. And because India is such a large and culturally rich country, the ways people celebrate New Year vary from state to state. In Punjab, the Sikh community celebrates Baisakhi, a harvest festival that marks the start of the Punjabi New Year. In Tamil Nadu, people celebrate Puthandu with traditional foods and rituals. Each state has its own unique traditions, and while the dates and customs may differ, the underlying theme of new beginnings and hope remains the same. Now, let's move to Japan, where New Year, or Oshogatsu, is one of the most important holidays of the year. Japanese families have a tradition of thoroughly cleaning their homes before New Year's Day, a practice known as osoji. This symbolizes getting rid of the dirt and clutter of the past year, both literally and metaphorically, to welcome a fresh start. Another significant tradition is the ringing of the temple bell, or Joya no Kane, which happens 108 times at Buddhist temples on New Year's Eve. The ringing is believed to cleanse people of the 108 earthly desires and sins, preparing them for a pure and renewed year.
That's so interesting, Julia. Japanese New Year celebrations also include unique customs like sending New Year greeting cards, called nengajo. These cards are sent to family, friends, and colleagues and are carefully designed with special messages and artwork. Additionally, people enjoy special foods called osechi ryori, which are beautifully arranged in lacquer boxes and include dishes that symbolize health, happiness, and prosperity. For example, black beans represent hard work, and herring roe signifies fertility. These traditions reflect the Japanese emphasis on harmony, gratitude, and preparation for a successful year ahead. Heading over to Brazil, New Year's celebrations are all about joy, energy, and vibrant traditions. One of the most iconic celebrations takes place on the beaches, especially in Rio de Janeiro, where millions of people gather to watch stunning fireworks displays over the ocean. It's a breathtaking sight as the fireworks light up the sky, reflecting off the waves. Brazilians also have a unique tradition of wearing white on New Year's Eve, which symbolizes peace and good luck for the coming year.
In Spain, one of the most charming New Year traditions is the custom of eating 12 grapes at the stroke of midnight. Each grape represents 1 month of the upcoming year, and eating all 12 grapes as the clock chimes 12 times is believed to bring good luck and prosperity. Families and friends gather around their tables, and the moment becomes a delightful mix of excitement and laughter as everyone tries to eat the grapes in time.
Finally, let's visit South Africa, where New Year's celebrations are full of energy, music, and colorful parades. In cities like Cape Town, street parades and carnivals take center stage. People dress in vibrant costumes, and marching bands play upbeat music, creating a lively atmosphere that brings communities together. For many South Africans, the New Year is not just about welcoming a new calendar year, but also about embracing unity, joy, and hope for the future.
Each of these countries has its own special way of celebrating, and it's amazing to see how culture, tradition, and history shape these customs. What unites them all is the universal theme of hope and renewal. Let's continue exploring.
As we've seen, New Year celebrations vary greatly from country to country, but some traditions are so unique, or even downright strange, that they deserve special mention. Let's start with Denmark. Imagine this. You wake up on New Year's Day to find your front doorstep covered in broken plates and dishes. That's right. In Denmark, it's a tradition to throw old plates at the doors of friends and neighbors as a way of wishing them good luck and happiness for the year ahead. The more broken plates you find outside your home, the luckier you are believed to be. It's a quirky custom that not only spreads goodwill, but also shows the strong bond between friends and family in Danish culture. It's like saying, "I value you so much that I broke my plates just for you."
That's such a fun and unusual tradition, Adam. Now, let's travel to Ecuador for another fascinating New Year custom. In Ecuador, people celebrate the New Year by burning paper dolls or effigies known as Años Viejos, which means old years. These effigies are often made to look like politicians, celebrities, or even cartoon characters, and they represent the past year's troubles, mistakes, or bad luck. At midnight, these dolls are set on fire in a symbolic act of cleansing and renewal. The flames signify getting rid of the old to make room for the new. Sometimes people even jump over the burning effigies to bring good luck. It's a fiery and dramatic way to say goodbye to the old year and welcome the new one with hope and positivity.
Burning effigies is such a powerful way to let go of the past, Julia. Traditions like these remind us how creative and meaningful New Year customs can be. And while they may seem unusual to outsiders, they carry deep significance for the people who practice them. It's all about creating a fresh start in a way that resonates with your cultural values and beliefs.
Now, while these unique traditions are fascinating, there are also some common themes that unite New Year celebrations around the world. One of the most popular elements is, of course, fireworks. No matter where you are, you're likely to see the night sky light up with dazzling displays of colorful explosions as the clock strikes midnight. Fireworks are not just beautiful to watch. They also have symbolic meanings in many cultures. For example, in China, fireworks are believed to drive away evil spirits and bad luck, making them an essential part of the celebration.
That's true, Julia. Another universal theme is food. Special meals are often prepared and shared during New Year celebrations, and the types of food served can carry significant meanings. For example, in Italy, people eat lentils on New Year's Eve because their coin-like shape symbolizes wealth and prosperity. In Japan, as we mentioned earlier, osechi ryori dishes are carefully prepared to ensure good fortune in the coming year. And in the southern United States, it's common to eat black-eyed peas, collard greens, and cornbread, which represent luck, money, and gold, respectively. Food plays such an important role because it brings people together and adds to the festive spirit.
You're absolutely right, Adam. And that brings us to another important theme: family time. Across cultures, New Year celebrations are often a time for families to come together, share stories, and create lasting memories. Whether it's through traditional rituals, festive meals, or simply enjoying each other's company, the New Year provides an opportunity to strengthen family bonds and reflect on the importance of loved ones in our lives. It's a moment to express gratitude for the past year and set intentions for the future as a family.
And let's not forget that New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are also about connecting with friends and the wider community. Whether you're breaking plates in Denmark, burning effigies in Ecuador, or simply sharing a meal with loved ones, the New Year is a time when people feel a sense of togetherness. It's a reminder that while we may have different customs and traditions, we all share the same hopes for happiness, success, and peace in the coming year.
Exactly, Adam. And as we've seen, whether it's through strange and unique customs or more familiar themes like fireworks and family gatherings, New Year traditions around the world reflect the rich diversity and shared humanity of our global community. It's amazing how much we can learn about each other and ourselves by exploring these traditions.
I couldn't agree more, Julia. So, as we wrap up this segment, let's take a moment to appreciate the creativity and meaning behind these New Year customs. They're a beautiful reminder of how we celebrate life, hope, and renewal, no matter where we come from.
Absolutely. And in our next segment, we'll talk about how you can incorporate some of these traditions into your own New Year celebrations, no matter where you are.
Julia, after exploring all these fascinating New Year traditions from around the world, I have to say it's tough to pick a favorite, but if I had to choose, I think I'd go with the Danish tradition of breaking plates. It's such a unique and heartfelt way of expressing goodwill and friendship. Imagine the joy of waking up to find your doorstep piled high with broken plates, each one a sign that someone cares about you and wishes you the best for the coming year. I love how this tradition combines fun, symbolism, and a deep sense of community. It's like saying, we're all in this together, and I want you to have an amazing year. How about you, Julia? Which tradition stood out the most to you?
That's a wonderful choice, Adam. For me, I think the burning of effigies in Ecuador really captures my imagination. There's something so powerful about symbolically letting go of the past and embracing a fresh start. The fact that people create effigies that represent their struggles, mistakes, or challenges from the past year and then literally burn them to ashes is such a bold and cathartic gesture. It's like saying, I'm leaving all my worries and regrets behind, and I'm ready to face the new year with hope and positivity. Plus, the fiery visuals and the sense of renewal it brings must be incredible to witness. I think it's a tradition we could all learn something from, don't you?
Absolutely, Julia. Burning away the past to make room for the future is such a profound concept. And I think that's what makes New Year celebrations so special. They're not just about parties and fireworks. They're about taking a moment to reflect on where we've been and where we want to go. It's amazing how every culture has its unique way of doing this, yet the underlying themes of hope, renewal, and connection are universal.
Exactly, Adam. And that's why learning about these traditions is so important. It not only broadens our horizons, but also helps us appreciate the shared values that bring us together as a global community. Speaking of sharing, I'd love to know how our listeners celebrate New Year.
That's a great idea, Julia. So, to all of you listening to the English Globe podcast, we'd love to hear from you. How do you celebrate New Year in your country? Do you have any special traditions, rituals, or customs that make the occasion unique for you and your family? Maybe there's something we haven't covered in today's episode that you'd like to share with us.
Yes, please share your experiences with us. You can leave a comment below if you're listening on YouTube, or you can send us a message on social media. Our handle is at the English Globe, and we're always excited to connect with our listeners from all over the world. Tell us what makes your New Year celebrations special. Do you watch fireworks, eat a specific food, or gather with loved ones? Or perhaps you have a tradition that's completely unique to your region.
And don't worry about your English. Remember, this is a safe space to practice. Whether you're just starting out or you've been learning for a while, we'd love to hear your stories. Who knows? Your tradition might inspire someone else to try something new this new year.
Exactly. And we might even feature some of your stories in a future episode. Imagine how cool it would be to hear your tradition shared with listeners from around the world. So don't be shy, reach out to us, and let's celebrate the diversity of New Year traditions together.
Julia, I have to say, interacting with our listeners and learning about their experiences is one of my favorite parts of hosting this podcast. It's amazing how much we can learn from each other, and it's always so inspiring to see how our listeners celebrate life and embrace new beginnings.
I couldn't agree more, Adam. So, to everyone out there, thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Your stories, questions, and insights make the English Globe podcast so much richer. We can't wait to hear about your New Year traditions and to continue exploring the wonderful world of language and culture with you.
And with that, let's wrap up this segment. Stay tuned, because we'll be back soon with some tips on how to make the most of your New Year resolutions while improving your English skills. It's going to be an exciting and practical discussion you won't want to miss.
That's right. Until then, keep celebrating, keep learning, and keep sharing your stories. We'll see you in the next segment.
So far in this episode, we've explored how New Year is celebrated in various countries around the world, and we've even uncovered some fun and unique traditions that make this global event so special. Now, we want to bring the focus back to something more personal and directly relevant to you, our amazing listeners. Since this is the English Globe podcast, we believe that every occasion, including New Year, can be transformed into an opportunity to improve your English skills. So, in this segment, we'll discuss how you can celebrate the New Year while also learning and practicing English in creative and effective ways.
That's such a great idea, Adam. The New Year is not only about celebrating with friends and family or watching fireworks, it's also a symbolic time of fresh starts and new opportunities. And what better way to embrace that fresh start than by working on your English language goals while you're enjoying the festivities? Whether it's through activities like watching movies, writing resolutions, or participating in conversations, there are so many ways to incorporate English learning into your New Year celebrations. Let's dive into some practical ideas that our listeners can try out this year.
One of the easiest and most enjoyable ways to combine learning English with celebrating New Year is by watching movies or TV shows in English that are centered around this festive time. For instance, classic films like When Harry Met Sally, or even fun TV episodes that showcase New Year's parties, are excellent choices. Not only are they entertaining, but they're also a rich source of everyday English vocabulary, natural expressions, and cultural insights. While you're watching, try turning on English subtitles to help you follow along with the dialogue more easily. Pay close attention to the way characters greet each other, describe their feelings, and talk about their plans for the future. You can even pause the movie to repeat phrases out loud or write down interesting words and expressions to practice later.
That's a fantastic suggestion, Adam. I think movies and TV shows give us a chance to experience authentic English in a context that feels natural and engaging. For example, you might hear characters saying phrases like, "Here's to a fantastic new year," or "Let's make this year unforgettable." Watching these scenes not only helps you improve your listening comprehension, but also allows you to observe cultural traditions and social norms related to New Year celebrations. And don't forget, You can rewatch your favorite parts multiple times to really absorb the language and even practice mimicking the pronunciation and intonation. Another meaningful way to celebrate the new year while improving your English is by writing your New Year resolutions in English. Resolutions are personal goals or promises you make to yourself for the coming year, and they can be a wonderful tool for practicing both writing and thinking in English. Start by making a list of things you want to achieve in the new year, whether they're related to learning English, your career, or personal growth. For example, you could write something like, "This year, I will practice speaking English for 20 minutes every day," or "I will read at least one book in English each month." Writing your resolutions in English encourages you to think critically about your goals while also helping you expand your vocabulary and sentence-building skills.
I love that idea, Julia, because it combines self-reflection with language practice. And what's even better is that you can revisit your resolutions throughout the year to track your progress and refine your English writing skills. To make it even more interactive, try sharing your resolutions with friends or family who are also learning English, or post them online in a learning community. Not only will you feel motivated to stick to your goals, but you'll also get valuable feedback and encouragement from others. Plus, writing in English about your ambitions and dreams can feel incredibly empowering. It's a way of expressing yourself in a new language while working toward a brighter future. Another great way to celebrate the new year and practice your English is by engaging in conversations with others about how you plan to spend the holiday or what you're looking forward to in the year ahead. If you have friends or family members who are also learning English, you can set aside some time to discuss your plans, resolutions, or even your favorite New Year memories in English. Use this opportunity to practice common phrases like, "What are your plans for New Year's Eve?" or "Do you have any resolutions for the new year?" These types of conversations help you build confidence in speaking while also encouraging you to think spontaneously in English.
That's such a useful tip, Adam. And if you don't have someone to practice with in person, you can always turn to online platforms or language exchange groups to find conversation partners. You might even meet someone from another country who can share their unique New Year traditions with you while you practice speaking English together. It's a wonderful way to connect with people from different cultures, improve your communication skills, and learn something new all at the same time. And remember, the key is to have fun and not worry too much about making mistakes. Every conversation is a step toward fluency.
As you can see, the new year is more than just a time for celebration. It's also an incredible opportunity to learn and grow, especially when it comes to improving your English skills. Whether you choose to watch movies, write resolutions, or engage in conversations, the important thing is to stay curious and keep exploring new ways to practice the language.
Absolutely, Adam. Learning English doesn't have to feel like hard work. It can be something you incorporate into your daily life and special moments, like the new year. So, to all our listeners, we hope you'll try out some of these ideas and make this new year a time of both celebration and progress in your English learning journey. We've already discussed the fun and exciting ways you can celebrate New Year while practicing your English skills. But there's another fascinating aspect we want to explore in this segment. Let's dive into how New Year's traditions themselves can be incredibly beneficial for language learning. You may not realize it, but the activities people engage in and the specific traditions followed during the new year offer great opportunities to learn new vocabulary, improve listening skills, and even practice cultural understanding, which is key in becoming fluent in any language.